I thought you were going to pause it first, and then we'd be able to. Okay, now you can play.
Well, last Tuesday, we learned that a week before that, in the Italian papers and also in AFP, Reuters, you name it, that the Pope had a secret meeting with the bishops and the cardinals about the main threat, quote, to the church. And of course, what he meant was the threat by people in the church and without the church who don't want to see it turned into a New World Order operation. He means the threat to the counter-revolution to kick the globalists that have blackmailed the Vatican into accepting a Jesuit Pope, into accepting a Pope that promotes socialism and communism and open borders and carbon taxes and world government. And the Pope has come out and said that the main threat, and he warned against conspiracy theories of Vatican skullduggery, is the headline from AFP. We can put that up on screen for folks. And so as soon as I saw this, I thought, we've got to get Leo Zagami on, because to have this Pope basically saying the opposite of what Pope John Paul II said or what the previous Pope said, you can criticize the Vatican all day long. I'm not Catholic. I'm just a Christian. I have a lot of Catholic friends. And there was a lot of criticism of the church over the years, and I wouldn't join in on it because the Catholic Church was pro-life and anti-communist. But now you can really say that the Pope is promoting the globalist agenda, hands down. And the fact that they would have a secret meeting, it actually admits in the news that it was a private meeting, and he warned them against conspiratorial thinking. So see, they don't want anybody talking about what's even been in the New York Times, the London Guardian, that the church was blackmailed 3 years ago when Ratzinger left and went to Castle Gandalf. And I'm not joking, that's not a Lord of the Rings joke. The castle's called Gandalf. And so you now got two popes, basically. First time ever. And you got all this weirdness going on. You got the left suddenly that wanted to...
I just want, you have to turn, I just want to make it clear to you. What he's saying is you have two popes. He's saying that this Pope, Francis, is not, the election is not legal. Something about an extra vote. You'll hear more about it later on, but that's what he's saying, that he's not the legal Pope Francis, that his election was illegal, and Ratzinger, whatever the right name is, who is in retirement right now, he is the real Pope. So that's what he's saying. It's like when there's a coup in a nation and the legitimate leader of the nation flees the country and is in exile in someplace else, he'll claim from another country, I'm the true sovereign of that nation, but I'm not there because someone else is taking my place. That's what he's telling you, that there are really two popes and that Francis is not legitimate. And that there was a blackmail that caused all this.
Demonize the Catholic Church, suddenly worshiping it. What's changed? What's happened? But we know there's a big conservative pushback in the church. He's demoted a lot of people that aren't playing ball. So there is definitely a civil war going on over the future of the Catholic Church. Joining us is Leo Zagami from Rome in the middle of the night over there. What time is it, Leo, your time, Rome?
Well, it's nearly 12:30. Hello, everybody.
Well, thank you for joining us, my friend. You, again, for those that just joined us, predicted, you've written the best-selling book, The Last Pope. You've written other books, written, I guess, 9-10 books. You've been part of some of the Vatican secret societies. You began blowing the whistle a decade ago because you thought the societies were for good. You realized that had been taken over and was for bad. So just recapping that, how big a deal is it that the Pope's having secret meetings with the leadership of the church saying, don't think about conspiracies? And that's what Obama says, is what they all say. Conspiracy theorists are such jokes. but they're all meeting in secret saying, oh my gosh, we're being questioned. I mean, isn't that all a conspiracy theory is questioning these people and admitting they have motives and admitting there's different groups and organizations? Why is the Pope so scared of this, and what does this signify, Leo Zagami?
Well, the exact words have been reported by Father Lombardi, who is the official spokesman of the Vatican, who is another Jesuit. The hermeneutics of conspiracy, meaning the interpretation of conspiracy. Usually this is a phrase used to interpret some, abstruse text. But in this case, Pope Francis is really warning his bishops because he's afraid that people like me or other people like you who have given finally the possibility to people to know the truth about what's going on behind closed doors in the Vatican are influencing in some way the synod, because writing what I wrote a week ago on InfoWars regarding the coming out of Father Caramsa and actually stating that the lobby gay was behind it, this stirred up a lot of trouble because a lot of media are reporting this now, this reality of the lobby gay. Such is it that Father Caramsa came out today on the Italian TV saying,
talk about a cliffhanger. Our Skype from Rome just froze up. Hold on, Leo, while your Skype clears back up. For those that don't know, there is a pedophile lobby in the Vatican. There is a gay lobby in the Vatican, and Zagami says those are two separate groups, and it's been admitted those groups are there. Then you've got a conservative lobby, then you've got the Jesuits that just basically run every group, every organization, and have full spectrum dominance that way. And they admit, mainstream news, you just typed in Vatican blackmailed into new Pope. And they were blackmailed. They were told, you step down or the media is going to bring all this out and the cover-up. Now the cover-up's okay. Now Pope Francis can have one of the chief, disgraced bishops, at the event in Philadelphia, and that's okay. Because the church has done what it's told and gone into the New World Order. Is that accurate to say?
It's something even much more that is happening these days in Rome. Once I'm going to tell you what's happening now in that synod of bishops, you will be outraged. There is, first of all, I have discovered who was manipulating this whole coming out of Father Caramsa. And he is called Emilio Sturla-Turno, with an organization that you can go and check on the internet. It's called the Rainbow Organization of Catholics. This Rainbow Organization of Catholics had organized just before the synod opening a conference called Ways of Love, snapshots of Catholic encounters with LGBT, which is lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender persons and their families. Now, in this conference, there has been a bishop, a Mexican bishop called Jose Raul Vera Lopez, who said these words, the gay will save the church. This was said by the Bishop of Saltillo in Mexico, said during the conference, the gay will save the church. This is outrageous. And not only this, in the synod, in front of the Pope, another bishop from another town in Italy instead, called Foggia, this guy said that the gays will bring only richness to the church. So basically, there is a whole organization that has been lobbied synod, and they actually have their own websites, and they are all controlled by, of course, by Jesuits. And one of the most important Jesuits in the US to take care of all this is called Robert Spitzer. Have you ever heard of this guy, Alex?
Yes, I've heard about him from you.
He's been on CNN many times, on the History Channel, many other media. He's the responsible for the university, Jesuit universities in the US, and he has been behind another conference that took place on Friday, October the 2nd, in which the more moderate side of the gay lobby, the so-called caste side of the gay lobby, kind of opposed what the rainbow side is saying. The rainbow side is basically the stronger side in the gay lobby these days. They are saying they want complete openness. So the church has to become openly involved with homosexual activities in the clergy, accepting them, and all this is sponsored by organizations that you can find on the internet, created by the Catholic Church, like NAPA or College. And as I said, I invited your go and check these websites.
Leo Zagami, stay there. Long segment coming up. I want to give the number up for folks that have any questions or comments. For you specifically on what's happening in the Catholic Church, 877-789 Alex. Stay with us. Leo Zagami is our guest. We'll be back. Leo Zagami is our guest. We got lots of phone calls for him. Again, the toll-free number is 877-789 Alex. I'm going to be honest with everybody because that's all I can do. And as older I get, the more flat out I get. I'm a libertarian at heart. I also am, somebody that grew up in modern times. I've studied history. I don't dislike, quote, gay people. And I'll even use their politically correct term if they want to take over the languages. That's what it is. Heterosexual, homosexual, whatever. But the left in its culture war and political correctness is using this to break up the family. And they have used pedophilia and then the gay lobby and blackmail to basically take over the Catholic Church. And they've had gay lobbies before, and Rome's declined before, and other civilizations. This is what happens before the collapse. And the New Yorker magazine has reported on it, London Guardian has reported on it. This is about taking over an organization that 1 billion people follow, that has trillions and trillions of dollars, 177 million acres. This is how the intrigue works. This is blackmail. And the gay lobby, doesn't have children. It doesn't any of that stuff. It just gives political contributions. It's all about power. It's leftist, and it's taking everything over. So I don't have to sit here and say, look, I don't hate people that are this way, because most people involved in that obviously aren't part of this. But the leadership of it and who speaks for you is really bad news. And it's trying to conquer civilization. And it is political, it's very dark, it's very destructive. Now, Leo Zagami, I know we've gone off of the fact that this is the takeover of the church, but I want to get you on how big a deal it is. The Pope comes out and says, the big threat is people questioning us, investigating us, talking about blackmail, talking about secret groups. I mean, really, that begs the question, do you think you should protest too much? This really shows that they want to call questioning authority a conspiracy theory. That doesn't work anymore. So how is it going for Pope Francis? Is it going well? Is it going bad? What's the next big shoe to drop?
I'm giving you a world scoop. You are about to hear a world scoop. The Pope will resign next year after his visit to Argentina.
Okay, that's big, because 2 years before the scandal started 5 years ago, you said a Jesuit Pope would take over and mentioned 2 men, and one of them this Pope, and so they'd use the pedophile scandal to take over. That then came out in mainstream news. So you've been proven right many times. You're saying world scoop. Are you predicting this from the tea leaves, or do you have inside sources?
This is the inside sources, 2 different inside sources. One from the Secretary of State of the Vatican, the other one from the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre, saying that the Pope will use the visit to his home place, Argentina, to make it in a way preparing the way for his coming back to Argentina, because apparently he doesn't want to reside after in Castel Gandolf or in the Vatican. He wants to simply retire in Argentina. That's what is being said.
And as you said 5 years ago when you wrote a separate book, they want to set it where a Pope doesn't come in and then die. It's a political post, so they can jockey and put different people in all the time, have 2 popes, then move the Pope to be a council of popes. I mean, explain why they want to do that.
Well, there is a big work going on here between the Jesuit and the Zionist lobby and the gay lobby. In fact, there is Emilio Turno, who took care of the coming out of Father Caramsa. He actually, his homosexual lover, is an Israeli intelligence asset. So the lobby gay works together with the Israeli intelligence and the Jesuits in this coming out of the gay lobby in the church. And all this, of course, is being fought by some conservatives. Imagine this: the Cardinal of Riga in Lithuania went in front of the Lithuanian parliament and said, Giannis Francis Pujat, this Cardinal, said basically we were better off with Hitler and Stalin because the European Union is supporting sodomy, and they are a bunch of sodomites. This is what a Catholic Cardinal just said yesterday, Giannis Francis Pujat. So, I mean, there is also some conservative...
Well, this is bombshell, Leo Zagami, because, you're You're famous in Italy. You're famous in Europe. For folks that don't know, best-selling author. You're on national television there. You're highly respected. You do have inside sources to the Vatican. You've predicted everything that's happened when no one else was doing it. I mean, you really have a lot of credibility here. And you went part of some of these high-level secret societies. You're saying you have been told from high level in the Vatican that the Pope will resign next year. This is bombshell. You've really stuck your neck out here. Flesh that out more, exactly what you were told.
I was said that during his visit that he will do next year in South America, which will include, I think, Chile, Argentina, and Peru, he will basically, this will happen approximately July of next year, but I mean, just when he goes to Argentina, which as we know, he comes from there, he will announce that he will resign. So, I mean, this has been confirmed by two different sources within the Vatican. I went especially to Rome to hear in closed doors what they have to say to me. I believe these sources are credible because one is a personal knight of the Pope, the other one works together with the I think that this information is pretty correct. It seems like when I asked them why is the Pope resigning, he said he has accomplished his mission for the New World Order. From 2016, the New World Order at that point is already in a process, it's already launched itself with 2030, with the whole thing we have seen, just the Pope going to the US and everything else. So it seems like he has done his job and then he wants to retire. It's very hard for him. We saw how fatigued he was when he was in Philadelphia. He was really going along with this leg, very much in pain. So he's really working for the New World Order until he is capable. And then
because it's about removing the power of the Pope in the Catholic Church. It's about, whether it was good or bad, it's about seeding it out to the globalists, bringing it down, breaking its will, using different cults, different secret groups to take it over. Clearly, that's what's happened, and it's here. And so the headline on this video, this should be a big article tomorrow, and I guess you're going to probably write one, Leo. We'll post it at Infowars.com. We'll publish it. The Pope will resign in 2016. That's the headline?
Well, if he goes to Argentina, because the problem is that they are trying to fix this trip in Argentina, is almost certain, it's even on the Wikipedia already about his pastoral trips for next year. If that is confirmed, we can say for sure that he will announce his resignation when he visits his hometown in Argentina.
Wow. So, Insider, the Pope to resign next year on visit. That is amazing. And we will continue to break that down. I want to come back in the final segment, take a few calls for you. But the time we have left here before we go to break, when we come back, I want you to answer this question. Break down, just in 30 seconds, what the 2030 plan is. Announces the world government is openly announced where that's going when we come back. Leo Zagami, best-selling author of the book, The Last Pope. You can see our interview with him in Rome on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com because for whatever reason, 100% of the Catholic Church is now under the control of the multinational corporations and now does the bidding of the one world government. Those conspiracy theorists, such as people who do research and question the establishment, are such a big joke. Why is Hillary, Obama, the Pope constantly criticizing people that, it's a conspiracy theory that I want your guns, Obama said. That's why I'm going to try to ban a bunch of them. So they just play this game. But the truth is, people are listening all over the world. They know what's going on. And this Pope is saying stuff 150 degrees, not 180, but close to the opposite of what previous popes said. And so something's going on here. First thing he said when he got in 2.5 years ago was Catholics obsess too much on abortion. I went and looked it up, and he actually said it. So I want to take 3 or 4 phone calls here from Mike, Lewis, Stephen, and others. Leo Zagami, finishing up, though, clearly world government's being announced. Everything we've talked about for decades is now just pretty much admitted. So I don't see how they segue from denying all this to now just admitting it all, but still saying we're discredited when we're not. Now that they've got their world government basically openly launching the TPP in place, all of it, what's the next shoe to drop?
what they are planning is being done, first of all, in secret meetings that take place in basically the birthplace, the place where we have the most holy saint for the Catholic Church, Saint Francis. It's in Assisi that the UN meetings, the real UN meetings, go on. And it's in Assisi that in 1961, for the first time, they presented the rainbow flag that later on in 1978 will become then the gay rainbow flag. But I mean, we don't have anything against the gay people, like you said. I mean, myself, I have a lot of gay friends. But what we are saying here is hypocrisy and lobbyism. And of course, their agenda is to destroy the family values, make everything that is normal not normal anymore. They are promoting things that are against nature.
Well, sure, that's the thing. I mean, they're saying you can't say mother and father and actually banning it. They want to ban us.
Yes, and I mean, even on Italian TV, which is it used to be quite Catholic, the main channels are now transmitting lesbian TV series and imposing their everything is really completely outrageous. What's happening also with the synod of the families? I mean, a synod of the families that ends up being a synod on the gay rights of the priests in the Catholic Church.
That's right. The Catholic Church has its big family conferences, and it's all about gays.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just the takeover of society. It's crazy.
And at the same time, you have to understand that the Jesuits are planning behind closed doors things that are much more delicate. Like, for example, the insurgency, what's happening in Turkey at the moment. They are directly involved in what's happening in Turkey at the moment. What's happening with that terrorist attack? Well, I mean, forget the whole PKK thing. I mean, what they have done there, if you want, I can explain it to you. It's manipulated by the ISIS. Basically, it's been attacked by the Kurds, and so to revenge that, the ISIS, we know who is behind ISIS, they have to attack this peaceful.
And now they blame it on the Kurds.
And they blame it, of course, on the Kurds. But
sure, that's clearly what's happening in Turkey.
But what people don't know is the intelligence agency in Turkey is now controlled by Fethullah Gulen, who is an henchman, an agent of the Jesuits, who wrote a book where his preview was made by Thomas Michel, who is a Jesuit. So they are quite open, the Jesuits, by taking over also Islam, with the whole Islam.
Oh, we gotta go to calls. Absolutely, it's just crazy. Clearly, the EU, the Vatican, radical Islam, it's all combined now to bring in the world government. And it is so just over the top. Mike in South Carolina, you're on the air with Leo Zagami. Go ahead.
Hello, I can't hear anybody.
Okay, we're on the air, brother. Go ahead.
I apologize, sorry. Okay, I just had two quick questions, if I may, to ask of Leo. I'm Catholic, but I'm more of the kind to listen to Bishop Richard Williamson or Father Paul Kramer than listen to Father Bergoglio. I just wanted to ask Leo if he's ever heard of the claim by Father Malachi Martin about the infirmary of the fallen angel Lucifer ceremony that took place inside one of the chapels in 1963 in the Vatican. And if he has, is that valid?
I understand the question, Mike. Go ahead.
Yes, I would say that the work that Father Malachi did himself, he was a Jesuit. Let's not forget that he was very close to the Israeli Mossad. But definitely he brought for the first time out certain proofs about Satanism in the Vatican. And the ritual he described, unfortunately, is true.
Well, and Mike, I wasn't trying to be rude. I'm just, this phone system, people don't hear when we go to them, and it annoys me. It's not you I'm annoyed with. Anything else you wanted to ask, Mike?
The only other thing I want to ask him, and he probably has, Leo, Antonio Sochi's book, Known in Francisco, have you heard of that?
Sure. Okay.
I know.
Sochi focuses on the validity of the election of Francis, stating that at the fifth election, basically, there was one vote extra that shouldn't have been there. So basically, Pope Francis is not legally or even by the canon law of the Vatican, the Pope. He's just a figure because the elections are not valid. And this is true.
Plus, how do you have two popes? I appreciate your call, Mike. Lewis in Chicago, you're on the air with Leo Zagami and Alex Jones.
There's two prophecies regarding the papacy and the Pope that the Church has placed a lot of credibility in. And that's the third secret of Fatima, which Pope John Paul II himself revealed and put credibility in
aren't there a lot of prophecies saying this was going to happen and now it's happening? I mean, is that the elite following those as a script, or is it real?
Absolutely. What was said in Fatima is very important because then it also connected with the attempted murder of John Paul II by Ali Akcha. And Ali Akcha himself said that a massive attack, probably even a nuclear attack, would be done in 2017 when the Fatima appearance was celebrated 100 years. Right in May 2017, there should be this terrorist attack to the Vatican, which is quite credible. I mean, Ali Akcha himself was armed but of course he was armed, not knowing who were his real handlers. And in the end, when he understood, he was really a bit shocked himself, because apparently his real handlers came from inside the Vatican.
Wow. Okay, Louis, great question. Stephen in Austin, Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead, Stephen.
Alex, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And I wanted to give you a quick thank you, but a little different one than you're probably used to. Thanks for taking time away from your family to do this on Sunday. I love listening to your show during the weekend, Sunday shows.
Well, thanks for putting that with me, brother. You're awesome. Thank you.
And more importantly, thanks to your wife for being, taking care of the home front so you could be out here doing this, because we all become dependent on the information you provide.
Thank you, man.
So real quick on that. Hey, secondly, by the way, Leo by far has the coolest accent of anybody on your show, so hands down. Hey, quick question from just a common sense Christian perspective for you, Leo. I'm not Catholic, I'm Protestant, Lutheran in particular, and I'd be very curious what Martin Luther would think today of the shenanigans going on in the world. All things being equal with Francis and previous popes, etc., none of them are perfect. We all know that. They're all human, as we all are. But it seems like the goods do outweigh the bad. And it does seem like in the world we live in, where there's just such gluttony and selfishness and immediate need for return on investment and the sense of entitlement, it does seem like the Catholic Church does still stand as a bastion of following the teachings of Christ. And so I guess my question is, do you think he's a willful idiot or just a naive pawn? It does seem
sure, does he believe in the socialism he spouts?
Exactly. So I'd be very curious what Leo's thought is.
Great question. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for the kind words. I'm humbled by the great audience. God bless you. Go ahead, Leo.
First of all, I would question the fact he's a Lutheran, because he talked more like a Catholic. I mean, it's okay that, because in fact Lutero has even a square now named in his name thanks to the Vatican in Rome. So there is no Protestantism anymore. Everything is controlled by the Jesuits, and I think that what they are doing is just a show. They don't fall for what they're saying. The teachings of Christ are not reflected in this church, and this is clear by their actions more than by their words.
Well, look, the stuff being taught by a lot of Protestant churches is even worse. I mean, I'm not picking on Catholics here. Clearly, though, this Pope's getting behind world government. This Pope's pushing austerity.
One thing is what you say, and one thing is what you do. I mean, this Pope is an actor, and I mean, what he says is, of course, very pleasing.
Sure. Leo, we're out of time. Thank you for staying up late in Rome. Thank you so much.
So I think we'll give an opportunity for questions or comments if anyone wants to say anything. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I personally feel a personal relief of being able to talk about these things. I know somebody about the Jesuits. Well, you can't talk to people about them. They don't want to hear it. Even if facts are presented, it's a mind block. So it's so good that it's coming out, and it's coming out deeper and deeper and deeper.
So this is a big challenge to Catholics now. You know? Did you hear him say Protestantism is dead? Did you hear him say that there's some kind of tribute to Martin Luther in the Vatican? So Protestantism is dead. They've invaded the Protestant churches, but the Jesuits are destroying Islam. They want to control everything. And the Jesuits are in bed with the multinational corporations. That's the suggestion.
I was just a little bit disturbed with this man, Leo, somebody, how he seemed to give some credence to the Fatima.
Well, he's a Catholic. He's a Catholic.
So he's still involved in idolatry, even though he's not.
He's an Italian Catholic. What he's saying is that the Catholic Church is not Christian anymore. He believes the Catholic Church, when it was into Mariology, etc., was
So he's
Christian.
still into Mariology. Okay.
Oh yes, he's a Catholic. He's saying the Catholic Church now is, I don't know, let me just say this just in case someone didn't understand it. He's saying that the blackmail of Pope Ratzinger, I'm sorry if I have to have his name wrong, and that made him resign, was that there were two powerful groups in the Vatican. One is the pedophile group, and the other is the gay agenda, and they're two completely different groups, he's saying. And the blackmail to Pope Ratzinger was that they were going to go public with the extensiveness of not only homosexuality but pedophilia in the Catholic Church. And that was why Pope Ratzinger resigned, and they put the people who were blackmailing them, the gay agenda, which are the New World Order is gay and into pedophilia and gay and lesbian and transgenderism. That's the New World Order pushing this whole thing. And they have pushed it and developed it in the Catholic Church. And it was that blackmail that this would get out, because the church is against homosexuality, because that made Pope Ratzinger resign, and then the New World Order that blackmailed them put this Pope Francis in, and he's a New World Order Pope. So now that's what he's saying. The New World Order now owns the Catholic Church, that he claims that it is true. Apparently there's been some publicity about there having been a Luciferian ritual in the Vatican. I think it was back in the 60s, he said. And this writer says that unfortunately it was true. They actually had a ritual to Lucifer in the Vatican back then. And he's saying there's nothing left of Christ in the Vatican. It's New World Order owned, and there's nothing of Christ in it. And they're destroying world religions. And the Jesuits will be the only one left. But there's no more Pope. So who will head up the Jesuits? I know, from what I understand, there will be no Catholic leader. It's the New World Order, it's the multinational corporations, and the Jesuits will run the religion, but there won't be any head spokesperson. At one point, he said, they've broken the power of the Pope. They've destroyed the Catholic Church. So these multinational corporations, this is what was new to me, that I couldn't resist taking a hold, because I don't like to take a day when I could be preaching and show videos, but I just felt it's so important that you had to see this, that the big shots in charge are the multinational corporations. Now, who are the men behind the multinational corporations? I don't know, but I believe that they're highly demonized and that there are spiritual forces that are controlling them. I think I did hear one or two names didn't mean anything to me. Someone by the name of Sutherland did. I don't know them. They're hiding, the guys that are really running this whole thing. They're hiding.
I'm just thinking those billions of Catholics that are under Mariology, if they're not delivered from that, they're so brainwashed, it's such a strong hold on them that they're not going to be able to receive the truth, even if it's in their
Yes, many Catholics will be destroyed,
Yes.
especially if it turns out that the aliens will reveal themselves through the Catholic Church. If that turns out to be true, many Catholics will be destroyed and are being destroyed now. You know, idolatry for the Pope. Yes, Jim.
What about the Illuminati? What is that? Is that the Jesuits also?
I don't know if the Illuminati or the Jesuits. I don't think so. I think they're a separate organization. But all of these organizations come, apparently what we're finding out today, are controlled by the multinational corporations. That's what we're finding out today. There are many organizations, each one designed to do a specific job, but on top of them, or all the power on top of them, are these multinational corporations that are controlling the food. They're putting all the farmers out of business. The food is bad. They're poisoning us, and they're just in control of the world. They're taking control of the world. They haven't completed it yet. Hopefully, Jesus will appear before they complete their task. I can't see. Well, maybe I hope this is the mind of Christ. What would be the point if humanity is completely overtaken and then he appears? At some point, I think when, based on everything that I know, when it looks like it's hopeless and there's no way we can win, that's when he comes in the last minute. The people have to realize it's hopeless and cry out to Jesus, because from what I've read, the people still, you can still find articles on the internet saying we can beat them, and nobody's crying out to Jesus. They're saying we can beat them. So it's not time for Jesus yet. But we can beat them because they're supernaturally driven. We cannot beat them without Jesus, and humanity has to find that out. That we cannot beat them without Jesus. See? Because they're not just multinational corporations; they're demonically driven. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing more now. I heard about this couple, this gay couple, consider themselves priests, and they're going to join the Episcopal Church and actually be priests. I mean, this is just word that I heard, and it seems like it's true because she's gone and seen all this going on. So I have a feeling that what they're going to do is say that these gay priests are in the Protestant church and have a way out of saying that they're in the Catholic Church. I mean, this is just a thought in my head.
I don't understand what you just said.
In other words, if they see the gay movement in the Protestant churches, which is happening now, they're accepting them, and they're accepting the marriage, and they're accepting, I guess, the fornication or whatever, because, maybe they're saying they're not fornicating, I don't know. But it's just one thing that I heard, about them in this Episcopal church, which accepts the Catholic doctrine or that, whatever. But it could be like a ploy to say that, well, this has been all Protestant, so it's gay driven in the Protestant church. That's just my thought.
Does anyone know what Jill just said? Or am I the only one that doesn't understand what you said?
Are you saying driving the Protestants to Catholic? Because is that what you're trying to say?
No, that the movement of the gay, although the movement is already in the Catholic Church, I guess, it's already in there. But I just thought that they would blame the Protestant movement as gays.
Oh, June, we've just been taught that the whole gay agenda started in the Catholic Church.
Okay.
That's what this video just taught us. Do you realize that you're saying the exact opposite of what you were just taught? Do you realize that? Do you realize that, June?
I guess I'm confused here.
Yeah.
I see that they already said it was in the Catholic Church. Yeah.
So you just wanted to have
But
something to say?
Does the people know that? Do the people know that it's in the Catholic Church? I guess they do.
Jim, do you think that everything you've had to say is appropriate for this meeting?
Yeah. Okay, I'll shut up.
Do you think it's appropriate?
No.
I don't
Guess
think
it's
it's
not.
appropriate. No. I don't think so. And this goes for everybody. You're not the only one that does this. There's a time for your personal testimony, because I know that you have a personal testimony regarding that.
Yeah.
And this was not the time for it. Okay?
Okay.
Anybody else? Anybody on the telephone? Questions or comments about this Italian writer?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Just to make a comment, I think she had a hard time hearing the speaker on there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But,
Yeah.
the guest speaker was not Alex Jones. I could hear him, but I couldn't hear the guest speaker very well. But it's very interesting how he talked about this. Is he's met his goals. The Pope's gonna resign because he's
Sandra, your voice is very muffled. If you're on a speakerphone, could you please pick up the phone, because I'm having trouble understanding you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm not on a speakerphone. I'm just not.
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. Just briefly, it was just sort of shocking because it was like the Pope can now resign. He's met his goals, you know.
Yes.
He can just kind of move on. It was just like shocking to see that was the whole agenda, you know, all along. And it's just like now it's being spoken out in the truth out loud by somebody publicly.
Right.
So I'm just shocked.
And the reason he can do that is that the office of the Pope no longer exists. The New World Order has broken the office of the Pope, so that's why he can just resign. See, before this, whether it was a king of a nation, or you can even look at our president, it was a big deal when Kennedy was assassinated. Somebody had to lay hold of the reins of power so that the nation didn't go into chaos. Okay? But we don't have that problem with the Pope anymore, he's saying, excuse me, because the Pope, the very office of the Pope is broken, and there's someone else already sitting in that position of authority. Because the Pope resigns, it doesn't mean that there's no one holding the reins of power. There's been someone holding the reins of power through Pope Francis's whole reign. And the one holding the reins of power is the New World Order. That's what he's saying. It doesn't matter whether he resigns or not. He's just a puppet. Yes, Susan.
I noticed, I guess I questioned in my mind. I never said it though with about the Pope's resigning, and because I was Catholic when I was growing up, and I thought that they never resigned. You were Pope until you died. They got a new Pope, and then they did the whole ceremony with the smoke and all that stuff. And so, yeah, when I heard that the Pope resigned, I'm just like, maybe I'm out of the loop. Maybe this is what they do now. But very, very odd that, you know, that they resigned and got a new Pope, and now all this is coming out.
But he's saying that that the resignation was phony, and that he's still the Pope.
Right.
But he's like a king that's been ousted, and someone else is sitting in the temple of God calling himself God, except it's the false God. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm really sorry you couldn't hear the gentleman speak. I know that Sue asked me for the link to that video, and I didn't get a chance to do it yet, but I'll email it to you along with Sue, so in case you want to listen to it again, Sandra. We'll send it out to everyone.
Yeah, it could be. I just didn't turn my computer on because I just started on the phone. I just didn't get on there, so it could be the phone. Maybe if I turn the computer on, it might work a little bit better too.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Comments or questions? Yes.
I'm just thinking years ago, it was, well, it's running my ideas to here. It was common knowledge that there was a black pope led by Jesuits. Behind it, there were two popes. Now it's more and more is coming out.
Well, this is not the same as the Black Pope. The Black Pope, as I understand it, was the head of the Jesuits, a secret society. What he's saying is that there are two popes, not black popes, but two popes.
Yes, that I understand.
One who's in exile, and the other who was illegally elected and about to resign, and we don't have any idea who they'll replace him with. That's what he was saying, maybe a council of popes. Whoever they replace him with is going to be a puppet. It's the New World Order running the Catholic Church, and it's become a pedophile, homosexual organization, and there's nothing in there that's Christian. That's what this gentleman has said, including marriage. They could marry after.
I guess I have one more question. Did I miss, is the exiled Pope, is he claiming to still be Pope?
No.
No, he's not. Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Well, I didn't understand what he was saying about that, and maybe someone else understood it, that in 2017, at the 100th anniversary of Fatima, somebody was threatening an atomic attack on the Vatican. So did anybody understand that, what he was talking about? I didn't know who or why they would be doing that, other than to say the Catholic Church is dead. But I wasn't sure that's what he was saying. It sounds like they're going to remain Catholic on the outside. He said that the Catholic Church is worth trillions of dollars. And the New World Order has all of that money and all of that property.
Yeah.
Trillions of acres, he said, of property.
Yeah.
So the best place we can be is in a little home fellowship like this. It's really the safest place we can be. Praise the Lord. Okay, I think I'd like to start a new video, start a new fall, and now I'm going to start showing you the PPA.